The views and opinions expressed on this program are those of the expresser, and do not necessarily represent those of the owner, management, or anyone else. This program is meant for mature listeners, and some of the language and topics may not be suitable for younger or sensitive individuals. If you are easily offended, or have a delicate constitution, you may want to turn the program off now. The program uses facts, fiction, sarcasm, and parody, and any references to specific individuals that may or may not have done something is based on something found on the internet. Use discretion when listening, and always feel free to double check our information if you want.
I'm Anvile.
And who am I?
You is Jeffy.
I am Jeff.
Jeffy.
That's Jeff.
And we're back finally.
After a long time. Very long time.
Paranoid 2 guys.
Yes.
Paranoid 2 guys.
Just so you know, just for people who might be tuning in for the first time, that sound clip for the beginning of the show is an actual supposed Sasquatch recording. It's exactly what I heard many moons ago. And that is why, we use that particular clip for the show and paranormal related, but that is what a Sasquatch sounds like.
And if it isn't, it should.
Yeah, exactly.
It should. That's
right.
Them bastards should sound.
Well, they have actually taken that particular clip, and this is why I like that one so much. And they run it through the sound, the sound systems that they have in the computers, and against try to match it up to known animals, mammals, and different, obviously different primates and whatever. And nothing matches. There's not a thing that's been recorded to this date that matches the voice patterns or sound patterns of that particular sound that you hear. So to me, that is definitely an unknown. It means it's an unknown animal, and it possibly could be our unknown Sasquatch. So
could be an alien.
Yeah, probably not. But anyway.
I'll get to why I said that earlier. All right, so we are back. Jeffy's had a long summer, a lot going on. I've had a long summer, a lot going on. So there's been a lot going on, even though we had a lot going on. There's a lot going on in the world.
Yep.
We'll get to that.
Yes, we will.
But let's hit the paranormal stuff first.
All right. Did you want to start out with the paranormal stuff? Or?
I can. If you want me to
go ahead. Knock it out, man.
So in the hiatus, I've had some time while I'm working on the computer to watch things, and there is on Discovery, I think, one of those networks, about an Alaskan Bigfoot called Nantinak.
Mm-hmm.
Is the name the locals got. So there's this little place in Alaska called Portlock that had a little community for a while.
Right.
And they were fishermen, they were cannery or that kind of thing. And eventually the community disappeared.
Yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking
about. Did you watch the show?
No, but I have a tie-in story to this.
Okay.
Which is quite relevant. This is quite relevant.
So Alana and I were just bored. We said, okay, well, she sometimes indulges me and watch Bigfoot stuff. So this was like a 6 or 8 part series or something, So they're going through it, and they're, 5 guys, 6 guys, and the boat drops them off in this place, so they're kind of stranded. They got a satellite radio, or walkie, but they're not supposed to use unless it's an emergency or they get hurt. And so it's going on. So it was fairly intriguing. It was done very well. They always left the episode end like at a cliffhanger. Mm-hmm. They found something new or something different. But it was one of those things. Did you ever watch the series Lost?
Yes.
This was great.
Old Lost. The original from the 1970s.
No, this is the one that came out a decade or half ago.
Or Lost World, I'm thinking of.
Lost World.
Yeah.
So basically, it's a plane crash, and they take you through the lives of these people that crash in the plane.
Right.
Blah, blah. And, you know, again, if they find this island and there's an old Japanese encampment they find, and there's supposedly someone on the island messing with them. So after 2-3 fucking seasons of the show, I can't remember what it fucking was. We binged a lot of hours watching this. Turns out all these people are fucking dead.
Oh, wow.
This is just them in heaven limbo.
Oh, wow. Oh, shit.
Reliving these things.
Ah.
It was a very annoying ending.
Ah.
The reason I bring this up is because we got to the second to last episode of this, and they brought in a paranormal team.
Oh boy.
To check over the island.
Oh boy.
And
let's see where this is going.
And so I'm like, okay, maybe
keep an open mind.
Maybe some good will come of this.
Right.
So the paranormal team, you know, the guy Rex or Conan or whatever the guy's name was, and he's got a psychic medium with him, and I got no problem with psychic mediums. But she's having all kinds of dark thoughts and dark feelings. And
good Lord.
So, long story short, I know I'm too late for that to really happen, but anyways, long story short, the paranormal team has decided that the island is haunted.
Ah, haunted island now.
And they are going to sage the island. That wasn't really an island. It's an inlet. It's not really an island. But there's a dark forest where this thing supposedly goes. So they brought in this, basically looks like a huge fog machine. But instead of using fog juice, they run sage through it.
Huh.
So they sage this whole encampment. And I mean, at that point, we're invested. We just got to
watch finish it now. Yeah.
And I'm not saying it didn't happen that way. I'm not saying that it wasn't. It didn't remove what it's supposed to at the very end.
Right.
One guy stayed behind and he got attacked or something. I don't know. But anyways, it was one of those things that you were invested in the show.
Yeah.
And I really thought they were going to have something.
Right.
I thought even like a skinwalker.
Right.
Because the really the description weren't so much like it was a Bigfoot, more like a big dog or a big wolf. It was haunted. It was possessed. There was a demon possessing the local animals, possessing a bear or something.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm just saying.
So
that's the road it went down.
So my tie into this, if this is the island inlet that I'm thinking of in Alaska, there is a famous, there was an old fishing town that ended up abandoned because the fishermen kept dying. Their bodies. Some of them just disappeared, literally disappeared.
They found ripped apart.
This is okay. It's the same place. So, in this now, what year did this show come out? Do you remember the seasons when it started? Because I could tell you if I was before this or after. This is a great story.
I'm sure you're before because I think this was
okay.
This was probably within the last 8 years.
Okay, so.
I'm thinking it was like 2015, 2014.
Maybe not.
2016.
I'm trying to think. All right. So one of the things I do for a living is I work on capital improvement projects for large clients.
Okay.
I can't name the clients. And one of these clients, I had a ton of work out in Alaska that had to be done for different facilities. And for people who don't know what capital improvement is, these are large dollar, $200,000 to over $1 million projects that need to be completed. It could be something as simple as a new roof on a commercial building, or it could be a new parking lot, new roof, and new rooftop HVAC units. Then you're in the millions, or a complete remodel of the facility itself. So this is what I do. One of the things I do, I should say. So with that being said, I had met all kinds of people. Vendors, guys, these are hardcore, right. I'm not going to name the gentleman because I don't have his permission, but one guy I worked really, really close with had a large construction company in Alaska, and he'd been in Alaska for 30 years of his life, so he knows it like the back of his hand.
Right.
He actually fought Boom Boom Mancini. When Boom Boom was an amateur, and he beat Boom Boom Mancini in the amateurs. Great story. This guy he's quite the character. So anyway, with that being said, so we became good friends because I gave him so much work and he did great work for me. And he was one of these true salt of the earth outdoorsmen, hunts bear, and he did everything, moose, he's done it all. And so we got talking, about Bigfoot came up in one of the, the conversations, and he goes, well, do you know about the island? And I did, we got talking about it. He goes, I've always wanted to do an expedition there. And I'm like, so do I. So we started making plans. I go, well, we're going to need a helicopter. He goes, oh, I got that. My buddy down the street's got a helicopter. He knew everybody. We had it all set up. Right. We had it all priced out. It was cheap. I mean, for everything, because we're going to do the cost together. For me to fly out there, food, he had extra weapons, so I had to bring any with me. Just me and him getting dropped off on an island. It was like $4,000. It was a bargain. And I had the money.
Right.
And it came down to my family, my mom and my sister and Heather were really, really dead set against me going to do this because they're really afraid I wasn't going to come back. I mean, not mean I didn't want to come back. Like, right. That was going to be it for old Jeffy, So I ended up pulling out of the deal, and I regret it because it would have been a great experience. I can still pull it off if I want. I can still do it. I may still do it, but I know that area, I know it. And I have contacts in that area, and it is something that I may still end up doing. Okay. So, but yeah, it's a legitimate, historical thing that happened in that area. So very
well, I guess the descendants of that area wanted to resettle it,
right?
And that's why the expedition was sent down to see if it was, if things are still going on, if it's possible to resettle it, can they make it a viable fishing village again? And that was the whole thing. This was the village's last chance to stay solvent or whatever.
Right.
Anyway, so we found that one interesting, then kind of let down at the end. So again, along the lines of allowing indulgence. So there was another one out there called Cowboys and UFOs.
Oh gosh, come on, really?
So Cowboys and UFOs again. It was.
Now, if they would have ran something like naked cowgirls and UFOs, I would have watched that.
It gets naked at one point.
Oh, see, I knew it.
It was an intriguing
title.
Pearls,
here we go.
It was an intriguing title. So this was out in, I want to say Wyoming or Colorado or
we're in the western states.
It was out west, but it wasn't out warm west. It was out cold west. But so these 4 or 5 UFO enthusiasts are also cowboys and ride a horse in the whole 9 yards. And this was known as probably 5 or 6 episodes. And this one was just because they would just get into wacky shit.
Yeah.
Like wacky shit.
Yeah, it sells.
Whatever
they can sell. Yeah.
So the pinnacle of wacky shit is that this guy's property that they're investigating butts up to Native American land. And there's a fence line, you're not supposed to cross it, and Indians will scalp you or whatever. So one of their buddies goes into this. One of their buddies goes into the barn that supposedly has all this activity in it, and disappears. And they actually had the camera and the big flash of light. And guy's not there.
Oh God!
So they go in the barn looking for him, and all of a sudden he's in the bottom of the barn. They catch a glimpse of him, and he takes off running. So they go off chasing after him. They catch up with him just over the fence on the native land, and he's at some kind of wigwam or sweat lodge or something, and he is butt ass naked, running around, screaming about this, that, and the other thing. Yeah. And then the Indians show up on top of it.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. So that was just entertaining. That was just entertaining. I'm just saying, I found it entertaining.
But
did they actually get a UFO in the process? I don't think so, but hopefully it's a season 2 of this.
I did a pilot TV show. I was part of a production, a pilot TV show, and it did air somewhere in New England. Mm-hmm. And everything was fake. It was a horrible experience. And I was so happy the show did not pick up because I didn't want my name associated with it. And it was absolutely horrendously faked. And that's what they do, though. And I remember I complained, me and Heather, actually, because Heather was in it too, and we complained to the producers and the director, and we're like, we can't be a part of this. We're serious investigators, Sasquatch investigators. We can't be a part of this. We're, well, you already signed, and da-da-da. I go, yeah, but we didn't realize you're going to be faking all this. And they sat us down. They look at everything you see in reality TV is just like this. It's just Finding Bigfoot. Or they started naming shows. The island bullshit. It's all like this. You need to get your head, out of the clouds. Like
right.
this is how TV works. And they were being dicks about it. They were being honest. It's all faked. You need to get over it. If you want to make money in this business, is how it's done. So thank God it didn't get picked up. So anyway, but yeah, that's why I'm like, I could already see where this was going with the Cowboys. So I'm like, any angle. I mean, they were they were happier than pigs and shit that Heather was on the show, or because she was deaf, and be like, it's a whole new angle. Don't you get it, Jeff? That's a whole new audience,
She can sense them coming.
Oh yeah, they were picking out, like, they had a company set up to make like the action figure dolls of us. And I ain't even making this up. Action figure dolls, right? I'm like, are you out of your fucking minds?
Just for that. So
Jesus Christophers.
Yeah, any angle, and actually, I think they brought up. I don't know if it was this show that brought it up. But they brought it up that it was very feasible that psychics could connect with Bigfoot, and Lorraine Warren had done so at one time with. When they brought in, her and her husband brought in, as part of a Bigfoot thing, and Lorraine was able to mentally connect with and communicate with the squash. It was a child squash, but she communicated with. Okie dokie. All right. Not saying you couldn't. I believe in weird things too.
Anything.
I believe in weird things too. But
anything.
It is. It
isn't possible.
So,
I do have some Bigfoot stuff.
Okay.
I've got other stuff. I got all kinds of stuff. Holy shit, do I got all kinds of stuff. And I'm sure as you do as well. Do you want to do another thing, or do you?
We can, just something that are local, kind of ties in with both of us.
Okay.
So, Alana and I have been talking about being busy. We have spent the weekends in October at the Phelps Mansion, which is a historical landmark here in the area. They're doing a presentation on Victorian seances.
Mm-hmm.
So they walk around the mansion, they talk about different things, and ghost photography and this, that. So Alani's part, my part, is to actually stage a seance. Not like Alani's used to doing it. This
right.
Victorian. So I was the effects behind the curtain, making the noise, making the things float around and doing all that stuff. So we spent our, well, we still got 1 week left to go, but that's where we're spending our time. I think there's stuff at the mansion. I mean, but this was just a fun way of doing it.
Fun way of doing it, yeah.
And you get all kinds of groups in, and get groups that just do nothing. You get other groups that are into it and having a good time. And so, the first time they know something's going on behind the curtain is when his hand pops up between the curtains and starts waving around and this, that. And then there's a point that Alani gets behind the curtain, and it's like supposed to be like a seance box, medium box. And you hear this, and as they open the curtain, she's got ectoplasm coming out, which is just me.
Yeah, right.
Pulling gauze out. So, it's that kind of shit. So, and doing that, but the tie-in is that empirical paranormal, which our buddy, used to be part of. Yeah. And they've kind of gotten away from it, but they've got this new group, and they really have jumped into it full board. This new group is all over the place in the area doing ghost tours and doing so. Just wanted to give a shout out to them. That it's nice that people got time and energy to do that. I don't think Lion had that time and energy to do that anymore, but very nice to see. Yeah,
and following up on that, as you pointed out, empirical there. I do have someone I want to reach out to tonight that's listening. His name is Mike. I don't want to use his last name, but I know Mike from a different world, I guess, what I do outside of this. And Mike is into ghost investigations himself.
Okay.
And I don't think he'd probably want, for his professionalism to know that, because he's a very serious professional. But Mike, this is for you. Just giving you a shout out. Thank you for listening to the show. And he's down in the Pennsylvania area, and it was just coming back. We got talking out of the blue. I needed him for something one night, an emergency service I needed, and he called me. He was at some kind of paranormal dinner, and I can't remember the details off my head, but it was funny. He called me. He's like, "Yeah, and he goes, you probably think I'm crazy, but I do, I'm into this ghost event." I'm like, "No, actually, that's right down what I do." I'm like, and I started telling him, my experiences with the investigations that I've done in the paranormal for the ghost. I mentioned you and your lovely wife, Alani, as well, and what you guys do. So this is kind of nice to find kindred spirits, in the other aspect of your lives, that you would never think. Absolutely. So pretty cool.
So the only thing I had as far as paranormal stuff goes, I've got several new books out.
Yes, tell us about your books, sir.
I rebranded the tarot book and put it back out with a little more information in it.
Is that the one I bought?
Yeah. Yeah. So you have a classic original.
I have the classic original.
So I rebranded,
signed by you, I believe.
Yes,
too.
It is. Yeah. So I rebranded that, put that back out, and that's actually doing interesting well. I've actually had more sales overseas.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Than I do in country, which is fine. England, France. I think England, France are the big ones, and then stateside. We also finished up and published our paranormal investigation book on the basics, and we got that out. And then I did a third book, which is basically probably the easiest way to describe it to when Roy is like I call it a question and answer book. So the thing is 530 pages long. But basically, you think of or ask a question. You don't need to say it out loud if you don't want to. And then you open the book up. And on one side of the page is either a tarot card or a tea leaf figure or dice or dominoes or a fortune cookie or a rune. So there's one of the divination tools there,
right?
A picture. And then on the other side of that page is what it means. So whatever you ask about your question, you open it up and there's your answer.
Cool.
So that's out there too. And it's all fairly new. There's a lot of what I was working on this summer. And we were at a show in end of August, beginning of September. And the show itself was a bust for us, except I met a woman that has a shop in that area. We were out towards the western part of New York State. And we struck a deal that she could buy them wholesale.
Oh, cool.
And because she wanted to sell the books in her shop.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know how they're going to do. But,
right. Hey, doesn't
but
that's great.
More to get out there, more better.
Yeah. So. Well, now, Anvile, with that said, are these books, is there any links on the website?
There are links on the website.
What's our website, by the way?
Oh, our website is www.letstalkitall.com.
Right, and we can find links to these books on that website?
Yes, I do believe they are there.
Okay.
If not, if you go to Amazon,
okay,
and type in these books.
Not these books. Don't write that in. It's not going to work.
Yeah, I'll have to make sure it's there, and I'll put links on it to Facebook and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Which I think I did. I know I did that, and that
right.
There.
Yeah.
So, but anyways.
Yeah, because people hear, they may want to, purchase the book, and I think there's a special collector's edition that you can request for a few dollars more. That's signed by Anvile, I believe. Is that correct?
Well, you have to go through me directly for that because
okay.
Amazon, those guys won't send it to me to sign and then send it back to them.
Yeah, that probably won't work.
But you can do that too. If you email us, here at Let's Talk It All Radio Show.gmail.
Right.
.gmail.
Yeah, I think it's Gmail. Yeah.
We can hook you up with whatever.
Yeah, fantastic. So,
what you got, Jeff?
Well, we're gonna get back to the Bigfoot stuff at some point. But the top of the thing I had put to switch gears a little bit, was there's something really fascinating. And I know we've done this subject at least 5 times on the show, or mentioned it 100 times on the show at this point. And I know everybody on God has been doing this particular subject because of the recent disclosures in the UFO world with the government and their secret programs, now not so secret.
Right.
So there's one thing I want to go back to, and this is why I hate bringing this place up and this event, because it's been done and done and done and done and done and done and done. And it's sickening to the point that it's been done. And I get that. I really honestly do. But there's one thing that's never, ever, ever mentioned in any documentary, any special, and I don't think in any book that I'm aware of. There's one overriding fact about this particular event in history that's undeniable. Okay, and this is what I love. So Roswell, New Mexico. All right, now this is 1947. World War II is over. The Cold War has officially started.
Oh yeah.
Okay, the 509th Atomic Bombing Wing. Okay, this is the same atomic bombing wing that dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Okay, the 509th. It's the only. Let me say this again. Let me say this again. It's the only atomic bombing wing in the world in 1947. There's nowhere else that has atomic weapons that can be dropped from bombers than in Roswell, New Mexico, and from the 509th. Okay, this is the most secret base at the time. This is like Area 51, and that's what's so hard for me to get across people. This is literally Area 51 in 1947. Okay, the other Area 51 was right Patterson Air Force Base, because that was the head of the technology division for the Army Air Force. Okay, so with that being said, these guys are the crack officers. In fact, Colonel Blanchard, that was the head of the Roswell base in 1947, was the commander, the backup commander for the bomb that was dropped on Hiroshima. So if the main plane didn't go, his plane was set to go, and he was the pilot and the commander of that plane. These are the crack officers, okay, of the Army Air Force at the time. With that being said, there is one overriding fact that's never mentioned, and that is the witnesses. There's over 500 witnesses that have signed sworn statements before their death of what happened and what they witnessed in July and August of 1947. Okay. In that entire time frame, okay, you've heard people, debunkers come up with stories. Well, it was a weather balloon. Okay, that was what the Air Force ran with, and the media bought it because the media believed the government back. Everybody believed the government back then. Then it became out in the 80s. I can't remember if it was the 80s or the mid 90s that it was Project Mogul, was this top secret program to detect, launches of possible atomic weapons by Russia or Soviet Union at the time. So then it was Project Mogul. Again, that didn't stand water, which I won't get into now. There's just too many whys it wasn't. With that being said, the only people who float these other possibilities are debunkers. People who were born, by the way, well after Roswell had happened. They weren't even alive when it went on.
Right.
Okay. So with that being said, here's the key thing that everybody misses. Not one person that can be placed at that base in 1947 by military records, meaning historical fact, has come forward to say anything other than it's been a crashed UFO. Everybody that's come forward has said it was a crashed disc, or they saw the alien bodies, or the bodies. I don't want to say alien because we're assuming they're alien.
Right.
Okay. Not one person has come forward that can be linked to that location in 1947 as a fact, has come forward and said it was anything other than that. Not one single witness. So that throws all the debunker shit right out the window. There is no credible witness that has come forward to say anything other than what the 500 people said it has been. Not one single person. That's never been up in a documentary. It's never been brought up in a special about it, and it's hardly in any book. And I don't think I'm not aware of any book of this key fact of being in. And I think that's just a fascinating thing. Not one person has said anything different than the 500, sworn affidavits.
Well, and I'll tell you, if history holds true, within the next 12 to 24 months, this is going to come out as a big thing.
It probably could. It could.
Because it seems, could be coincidental if you believe in coincidences, but when you and I talk about stuff,
yes. Oh, yes.
After some time,
yep,
all of a sudden, one of the accredited journalists
yes,
or talking heads make a big deal about it like it's flash, big news.
Yeah, big news. Yeah.
Big news.
No one knew this.
Oh, yeah. So, and I think Jeff knows I'm talking about the Kennedy thing.
Yeah, the Kennedy, yeah.
The Kennedy thing.
Yeah.
So, back in 2017,
we did a great show.
You did a great show. You did research. You knew all about it. We talked about the fact that it was this, and this.
Yep.
And then 2022.
Boom.
2022. Tucker Carlson. I love Tucker Carlson.
Yep.
Tucker Carlson breaks this news that it was the CIA involvement.
Yep.
And I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about?
He listened to our show.
We talked about this like 3-4 years ago. What are you? And his sources. It's like, oh, this was released as Freedom of Information.
Yeah.
And these are all things Jeff did. This President Donald Trump at the time.
Yep.
Released all this stuff, and he did. And it just took other people 5 years to figure it the fuck out.
And there's still more to be released.
Oh yeah,
there's still a ton. Because
I'm just saying
they're literally waiting. And again, Tucker did break it, on the national stage and confirmed.
And it didn't stay live very long.
Yeah, and confirm what I said.
Right. Oh, absolutely.
Confirm exactly what I said. Because I did my research. I went through the National Archives. I looked through the documents. I looked through, and we're talking thousands, by the way, people, thousands. And I saw the eyewitness testimony, and and the sworn statements from the on the mob side. I knew who the players were. I knew who was on the. I named names. I knew who was on the backup team. I knew who was on the backup. Kill team. If the primary team didn't succeed, you had it all. We had it all. It's a great show.
Just.
Yep. But you're right. We
so this will be a story in the next year or so.
Yes.
This will be someone's big thing.
Yes.
They'll pick someone that's famous at the time to do the documentary, and this will be all stunning news. Well, fuck you, stunning news. Jeff had this more than I, but Jeff and I had this months before you people.
Yes.
But anyways, so
all right.
I just want to point that out.
No, that's great.
We are the actual.
We are
the leading edge. And
we are the leading edge.
These people are just sniffing our butts.
Yep. It's kind of like the Ukraine deal. I said that Russia would invade Ukraine. This is I think it was like 2 years before it happened. Is it Russia? And they're going to get stopped like they're stuck in the mud. Remember I said that?
Yeah.
And and all the news media is going to be over in 48 hours. 48 hours, 24, 48, Russia will have them. It's going to be over. And I'm not. I kept saying, no, it's not. It's going to be it's going to be still longer. It's going to be long and dragged out. But we're going to get to that later because I have some more information on that. So anyway, I wanted to get the Roswell thing out. That's very important. So I got that out. And kind of rolling into the Roswell thing. I don't have the gentleman's name written down here, and I apologize. I thought I got it earlier. Darn it all, and I don't. But another gentleman came forward who worked in the foreign intelligence scientific side of research for God dang it, I can't remember, was the Defense Department or the CIA. But anyway, he was the head of the UFO. Hi, Dad. Thank you. Hey, Dad. Thank you. He was the head of the now ATIP. That's public. He was the head. He was the top of the ATIP. That was the Pentagon program on UFOs, and he actually had to go through the channels and get permission for the book he just released. The book is out, and dang it, I know I should have wrote it down, because he says one simple line in the book, and it's humongous news. And remember, he had to be cleared because of the security clearance system, because of the information he knew, he had to be cleared by the Pentagon in order to release his book the way it was written. All right, just like the latest whistleblower, I can't think of his name now, but we did a show on him. They came out about crash disc, and he went to the Congress, testifying to Congress, right?
Yeah.
Same process. He had to go through the same process to get permission to disclose it, signed statements, all the things signed. It's in his book, actually. All the information's in there. It shows that he went through the proper channel, so he couldn't be fined by the government and lose his pension and all this other shit. So anyway, or spend 10 years in prison, actually, too. So one line in his book is that he talks about the crash disk of extraterrestrial origin that's in our possession. He admits in his, and this is huge news, this is gigantic. He admits in the book that we have extraterrestrial craft in the government, the U.S. government, in its possession.
Right.
And he was okay by the Pentagon to release that.
I got a follow-up story that,
Yeah. So anyway, I just want to point that out. I'll have the gentleman's name and the book. You should be easy to find. Just look up ATIP and new book or something like that, and I'd imagine it would show up. And I apologize for not writing it down when I read through the story. But anyway, interesting stuff. So we do. There's no doubt about it now. We most certainly do have. Just like Robert Lazar said, it kind of proves everything what Robert Lazar said back in the 80s about, he was in Area 51, the S4 complex, Dreamland it's called, and he worked on the, propulsion system for these craft. And, in Robert Lazar's words, even to this day, he's never changed the story one bit. And he's still being raided by the freaking FBI, the CIA. I mean, it's crazy. I don't know if you watched a documentary on it.
Yeah, Robert Lazar.
Yeah, that's some crazy shit. Yeah. But he's still being hounded. After, 20, 30 years now, they're still hounding him. It's because what he's saying is true. If you cannot kill someone and get away with it, you destroy their credibility. That's what they're trying to do. But he's never changed his story. And like he said, that the craft that he worked on, the propulsion system he worked on, that he was, asked to back engineer or re-engineer, was not thousands of years ahead of us, hundreds of thousands of years, if not millions of years ahead of present technology. That's how more advanced these systems are. We couldn't even begin to understand, how they operate.
Right.
It's like giving a caveman a digital watch and saying, figure out how this works. Without the basic understanding of transistors, you wouldn't have a freaking idea or a clue, or even battery power. You wouldn't have an idea. So interesting stuff, from that front. Our Senator Gingerbread, Kristen Gingerbread, I'll give her some credit. She sees the smoke.
She's into the UFO thing.
No, and she gets it because she knows the balance of power is way out of whack. As a lot of congressmen are starting to wake up to the fact too. I have to give AOC a little credit here. I hate doing that, but she gets it too. She's like, hey, wait a minute. Why is this all going on in Congress and the Senate aren't the House of Representatives? We're not involved in any of this. No one knows. It's not even in the the senators do have special access to anything about it.
Yeah, well,
that is a huge issue. That means there's aspects within the intelligence community and military industrial complex that are operating outside congressional and presidential approval. That is a huge problem.
It is.
And it's going on. And she sees that. So Gingerbread, I can't.
But it's not in our top 100 of huge problems in this country.
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm just saying. Right. But Gingerbread's going after him. She's like, no, we're not going to allow you to make this another smoke screen and bury it.
Right.
The genie's out of the bottle. You're not going to be able to put the genie back in. These craft are coming from somewhere else. People are going to buy that they're Chinese or Russians. They're not stupid. She's saying that in a nice way, but that's the point. We know this technology is not from this planet. We know nobody on this planet has this technology. We don't have this technology. And if we don't have it, the Chinese don't have it. And the Chinese don't have it, the Russians don't have it. Nobody has the technology that we see. That's just a simplistic fact.
There are those that would say, not to argue with you, but those say that the UFOs are seeing are the UAPs, APUs.
Yeah, whatever they're calling it.
Are from this planet. It's not our technology, but it's it's us. It's the American pilots flying them, and
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Anyways, so that, you know, it's, so you know, when you throw out the truth, you got to throw out some bullshit to go with it.
Well, no, and that's what they're trying to do, I think, as well as, you know, secret black projects or whatever. The only problem with that entire scenario is we've never not used a weapon in war. We're engaged in all kinds of conflicts right now. We've never used this advanced technology that apparently we've had for 50 years, more than 50 years. These craft, okay, that we're seeing are caught on radar right today, sonar today. Eyewitnesses, right? Now, here's the great thing about all the files that have been released from Army Air Force, later Air Force, FBI, Central Intelligence Agency, National Security Agency, National Security Council, the Defense Department, okay, Army Intelligence, Naval Intelligence, Air Force Intelligence, all these documents. We're not talking thousands. We're talking multi-millions. We're talking over 100 million documents at this point have been released under Freedom of Information Act, all relating to the one subject of UFOs. Through that chronology, just like I did with the John F. Kennedy assassination, you can easily see, I mean, it's not even hard, that this is the highest classification given to any subject within the military-industrial complex. Meaning, okay, in 1964, it was, and there's documents to support this, it was rated, the subject, UFO, the subject itself was rated 52 levels above the A-bomb. 52 levels above the A-bomb when it came to secrecy classification. It had the highest security classification there was for top secret. Nothing even came close to this subject. Okay. With that being said, these objects were caught on radar and sonar in the late 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. Okay. Eyewitness testimony, pilot testimony, all behaved the same exact way as they do today. There's no difference. So for us to say that, okay, it's our pilots flying around, that means we've had this technology since the late 1940s, which is absolutely fucking ridiculous.
I think.
Right.
I guess what I should have said, I should have prefaced it by the sightings of late, like in the last year or so, are actually whatever, backwards engineering or borrowed technology, or whatever, being caught on camera that we're using all of a sudden. So some form,
so you have the Navy in two different oceans dealing with these objects for over a 2-week period. 2 aircraft carrier strike groups are dealing with these objects, being dogged by them. They're sending up F-14 and F-18 fighter pilots after these craft. So we're led to believe, based on what, I know what you're saying, you're hearing it from other sources. We're led to believe that there's an arm of the military that's purposely fucking with the Navy and the Air Force at this point, purposely fucking with them and not telling them. That means there's a secret arm of the armed forces that's not accountable to Congress and the president. That means that's another huge issue. Regardless if it's alien or not now, then you have that issue. I don't think that is. I think there is an arm that's out there that's not reporting. Absolutely believe that 100%. But the technology itself, it's alien technology. These are creatures from another dimension, or whatever hell do you want to put it. We are not even close to that kind of level of technology, But that's So no,
just saying.
Yeah, I'm making the counter argument against what you're saying.
And I'm just saying, it is not beyond.
To me, it's beyond
the ability and scope of our current leaders.
Well, no, not our current leaders. It's our current leaders. No, the people behind. There's people. It's something like that was going on, which I think is highly improbable. But
do they need to have the whole aircraft carrier in on the project? No. Do they need the captain? Probably. Need a couple key pilots that fly F-14s, F-18s, F-23s in the process? Yes.
No. That would never. They would never do that. No.
They would never do that.
No. They would not. They would not engage.
Do I need to look for a pod in this basement to find out where the real Jeffy is?
No.
I think that's beyond our government's capability to just have key players in the right place to do right things.
Not like this. No. Okay. No. This is something completely different. I had a stern, fast, hell no, this was not any harm to air. I'm talking about the carrier incidences, you know what I'm saying? The 2 week periods. Okay. I'm saying absolutely without a shadow of my doubt in my mind, had nothing to do with the U.S. government being involved. So I'm just saying.
All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll leave it at that. What else you got?
All right. So that's a great question. What else we have? Got me all riled up. Cancer. Fucking cancer. All right. So this is amazing. I just found this out today.
That they've cured cancer.
No.
And they're keeping it from us. Oh, yeah.
Wait, no. Wait. This is great shit. Wait, let me finish. Yeah. So, fucking cancer. So I'm on the way to the dog park of all places today because I always go to the dog park right after work with my dogs because it's hiking. We go hiking and you go swimming, the pond, whatever. Every day I do this. And I'm on the way to the dog park and you get the news updates. You know, hey, today they're starting the great news. They're starting the trials, the medical trials on the new vaccine that will prevent dogs from getting cancer. I'm like, and I had to look it up when I got home. Yep, they're starting trials on a vaccine that will prevent a dog from getting cancer, right? Now, what's fascinating about this, dogs already have the vaccine to keep them from getting fucking Lyme disease. Okay, humans don't have that, but dogs do. And now dogs are getting getting a vaccine to prevent you from getting cancer, right? Now, so I'm like, well, how much money do they spend on this for research for dogs in comparison to humans? Because we've been trying to beat this cancer shit for a long fucking time. There's a lot of groups out there that get a lot of government money. Government money is public money.
Not just a lot of government money, a lot of private and public money.
Yeah, well, public money is government money.
No, not if they.
No, our taxes.
For cancer.
Our taxes.
Right. I get
okay, they give out grants to these big corporations, right? These pharmaceutical companies, really, to develop stuff to fight cancer. One of them is to make a fucking vaccine. And I brought up in the past, I'm like, conspiracy, maybe they really don't want to cure it because these drug companies like COVID make a shitload of money off the drugs to deal with the pain, to deal with the symptoms of cancer. They don't save you. They may keep you alive a little bit longer, but they don't really want to cure. At least that's what I used to think. So then I looked at how much money he spent on this dog, dogs, fucking dogs curing cancer, right? Literally, if you look at the numbers between what is spent in a year on human research and what is spent on dogs in a year for research, it's like I have a better odds of hitting the fucking lotto. And I'm not even exaggerating. That is the difference in money we're talking. So no one can tell me at this point, and don't tell me humans are so more complex than the DNA. Of course we are. But now we're talking about the amount of money and research that's gone into looking into this. We most certainly can cure cancer. There's no doubt in my mind at this point, if we can fucking do it for dogs, we can do it for fucking humans. They don't want to.
All right. It gives hope. But I would have to say at this point, I'm just jaded about everything. And I just lost our dog.
Yes, I know.
During this period that we were off.
Right.
And we don't know why. It was one of the things, she just went downhill.
How old was she?
I mean, Ziva was probably, we got her as a rescue, so we're not sure, but we took a wild stab. Said she was probably between 13 and 15.
Wow,
dude. She's old. No, she's old. I get it. But an average life expectancy of a dog is what? 15, 20, if they're lucky.
No, God, no, not even that. I mean, like,
so
my experience has been 14 years. That's really the top usually.
So I just think I would have to see the data. And I would have to really see the data that shows that this is the biopsy taken from wherever it was, and this dog, and this is the biopsy now where the cancer's completely gone, and dog is. I just think that the dog's life is so short, anyways, that this is just another way. I will tell you, and I appreciate everything the vet did, but before we had to have the dog put down, 2 months prior before we had the dog put down, we dumped a couple grand into the vet to get blood work done, and get this done, and get that done, and get this done, and get that done. And then the final $500 of that was to put her down and get her cremated.
Oof.
So if they have it, that's great. I get it.
Right.
But I think all the things we feel about the human end of it, I think it is too much of a big business for them to let the, I think that there is probably maybe not a cure, but something that has proven to be work against the cancer but they've buried it, got rid of it, killed the person, cars that run on water, people die.
Yes.
I'm just saying.
Right. No, you're right.
There's still a crazy psychotic hatred in the medical field about Eastern medicine.
Yep. True.
I mean, okay, we allow the acupuncture to go in the hospital, but herbs and natural remedies
Asian
and things
massage.
like that.
Yep. Asian massage.
Asian
massage.
They
Asian
still,
massage.
CBD
wrong with
was
a
been
yellow
a huge
fever
thing in the last few years, not just CBD oil and things like that. My doctor, I trust my doctor. I love my doctor, but he has done no looking into it because it's not something he's going to get paid for.
Right. No, exactly. Yeah.
And I found actually, it seems to be some of the few things that actually doesn't eliminate the pains I have, but at least reduces them to the point where I can still kind of freaking function on a daily basis.
But
I'm just saying, and after this whole COVID thing and the vaccines and just,
I think anyone who gets the latest vaccine is a fucking dumbass.
Monkey fucking us on that whole thing.
Yeah.
I'm done with medical.
Yep.
To that extent that, we found a cure for this, we found a cure for that.
Yeah.
Good. Just let me die of my fucking bad heart and emphysema. Thank you very much.
The latest strain, and this comes from the CDC, the latest strain of COVID, they said, and I quote, because this is coming from the CDC, I quote that people who've been vaccinated or shown a natural immunity, people who've been vaccinated and have had COVID have a higher chance of getting the newest strain, which makes no fucking sense, right?
Had it a month ago.
Yeah, right. So, again, they flipped the script. They're flipping the script constantly, and then they got this latest version. No, I think people who get this latest shot, you're fucking stupid. I mean, we already know. Okay, we don't know for a fact, but we're pretty sure the original shots fucked people up. At least a small percentage of them, anyway. And there's all kinds of data to back that up. We're gonna get banned on YouTube again, but
nothing new there.
There's been no human testing on this. You are the human testing, okay? And they're protected. They signed all these wonderful bills and laws to protect these companies from lawsuits. You're the human test subject, legal test subject. So if you allow them to put this shot in you, this newest shot, remember, you're the test. You're it. You're the little rat being tested. That's how this works, okay? No one else. There's been no process for this.
I'd have to look up the quote.
To me, you're a fucking dummy if you can't think this through. And I'm sorry, but that's how I feel.
The new vaccine was tested on 5 mice or something. Something ridiculous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah.
Send it out.
Mice look happy.
Get the kindergartners in here. They're next.
Kindergartners in here. So, I still don't think we know all the ramifications from whatever they pump.
No, and that's why they said 50 years. I think they're protecting.
We're seeing a lot of it now. They still can't explain why healthy, athletic, which is why I'm not healthy or athletic, 20 to 30-year-olds are dropping dead.
Yep.
They still won't say why that football player had a heart attack middle of a game.
Yep.
Or they got hit.
Just random.
Got hit too hard.
Yeah, remember we talked about the whole hitting
hit
shit.
Too hard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whatever.
I fought that one.
Yeah.
That's bullshit.
So that's and what's funny is we talk about this. As far as YouTube goes, YouTube can fuck. Where's all the COVID talk gone in the last month and a half? That was the big scare about a month and a half ago.
Yep.
Gotta get a new booster. New COVID's coming out.
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
Shutdowns again.
Mask mandates coming back.
Get your toilet paper. Get your toilet paper.
You know, and I know because I had to go to one of our local hospitals shortly, within a few days after all that crap came out.
Literally.
And they were in full. You had to wear a mask if you were going to be in the hospital.
There you go again. Yep.
And I'm like, well, not until someone tells me. No one told me.
Yep.
But they were telling everyone else. So I don't know. I'm just saying, it's they've moved on. I think we're getting into it now, but it's one scare after another. It's one scare after another.
Yep. Trying
to find, if it's not going to be COVID lockdown, it's going to be something else. I'm not happy with the healthcare system. But anyway, that's recent.
Oh, there you go. Here's something you can this is a little Bigfoot stuff. I'm gonna get back to Bigfoot for a moment.
Okay.
So I don't know. Some of the listeners may remember that me and Heather took a trip to Lake George a few years back.
Yes.
For a Bigfoot expedition. Well, I'm gonna tell a funny story. I don't think I told before about this, by the way. It'll make some people laugh. So anyway, we were there and so I kind of give a quick recap. We went to the only official Star Trek museum up there.
Oh yeah.
You have to go.
I know.
You really have to go.
I know.
It's exactly the way
this guy's done a great job.
He's done an amazing job. William Shatner goes there every year because he's so impressed by the fucking place.
Yeah.
And anyway, long story short, we're in this is when the masks are going on, and I had to get special permission so we could have no mask. We had to keep the distance because Heather, couldn't see the lips moving, right? So anyway, long story short, there's this guy had a Bigfoot shirt on, and the guy giving the presentation and the tour guide said, "Oh, wow, I love your shirt." And he goes, "Well, I'm a Sasquatch investigator. My name's Paul. Paul, I'm really sorry because I'm going to murder your name. So I always use Bartholomew. Anyway, can't see it. Can you say it?
Bartholomew.
Yeah, thank you. See, I can't say that. I have a speech impediment. So yeah. So I'm going to say Paul, and you're going to finish it for me. So Paul,
Bartholomew,
yes, was there, and I'm like, oh my god, and I'm like, me and Heather are here. We're doing an investigation up on Buck Mountain. This is one of the hot areas on Lake George, and the far side of the lake. It's called Buck Mountain. A lot of Bigfoot sightings there. So anyway, he was kind enough to, after the tour, he was on his last day of vacation. He had nothing planned. His wife apparently had to work, so he's like, I'd love to give you guys a private tour of all the hot spots, and he did. We met him at his house a little later that day, and he had all these casts that he took himself from all the investigations that he's done, and has held real Bigfoot casts in my hand. I mean, they're huge, and he took this all the the 76 huge event up there, with the police officers and the state police saw it, and all that. And he was one of the investigators. I got all this great information. And Paul
Bartholomew.
Yes. Is in all of these documentaries that you watch, especially in the state of New York. And he's written a bunch of books too. One of them is called On the Trail of Bigfoot, which I have, and he signed it. It's a great book. You can find it all over the place. It's called On the Trail of Bigfoot. But Seth Breedlove was up there. He does a lot of Bigfoot documentaries. Now, Seth did one in upstate New York. Paul was in that one. And I'm trying to think if I wrote down the name of it. It's newer. Oh, wait. Maybe I got the title of the book and the actual documentary incorrect. The name of the documentary is On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Journey. So you'll find that on YouTube. Sure. On the Trail of Bigfoot, The Journey. Sorry about that. I fucked up the book title. But anyway. But Paul's in that one. There's a lot of people in there. Our buddy, who's this?
Sasquatch.
There's this guy.
Commando.
Yeah,
Steve Crawls.
Steve Crawls is in this one as well.
Nice.
So he's in there. And now I know Anvile got to meet Steve and got some signed stuff for the show, which we deeply appreciate. I have never met Steve. I did reach out to him numerous times years back. I had a Bigfoot expedition up into past the Lake George area of New York State in the Adirondacks. And I was taking up a team. I had a private investigator, I had Heather, and I had 2 Broome County sheriffs go on this expedition at the time. And I had reached out to Steve because I knew Steve knew the area, and I knew he knew where the best places were to start because he had found tracks up there, blah, 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 blah. I reached out numerous times. He wouldn't return, my calls, my emails, nothing. And it bothered me because this is the issue with the Bigfoot community is every researcher hoards their information and they won't tell you anything. And the problem with that is you're never going to solve the mystery if people keep doing that. No one's an expert. Everyone likes to pretend they're an expert. No one's an expert. We don't know anything about these fucking things. No body's been fucking found.
Right.
We don't know. You don't call yourself a goddamn expert because you're not. All right. And if people would share their information and more scientists got involved, we could solve it. We'd be able to solve this. It would be over and done with already. But because of the way the community is set up, it's going to be a very long time, I think.
I think it's starting to open up. I think I told you that. I think starting to open up when I talked to Steve, and he's very open about it. And he seemed eager to. We gave him a call. He talked to us.
Okay. Right.
So I think that's starting to change. I think as it gets more popular on television, there's got to be at least current 6, 7, 8, 9, 20,000 Bigfoot shows.
Oh yeah,
just like there's UFO shows. Like it's like the paranormal. You didn't in the 70s. You might have heard a whisper that that person's a medium or a psychic, and then it exploded in the 80s, and then now you can't swing a dead cat without hitting a psychic or a medium anywhere at this point. So I think it's one of those things that, as it becomes more popular and everyone thinks they are one, and they want to, I think people want to make sure that things are being done the right way.
Right.
So I think the Bigfoot people are trying to educate and mentor a lot of these newer people coming into it. That's my thought.
Yeah, could be. Hey, could be. Maybe you're right. Could be. All right. So anyway, On the Trail, Bigfoot, The Journey. Please watch that on YouTube. It's really done. It's by Seth Breedlove. By the way, Seth actually, this is an interesting story, and I never got back to him, so this is my fault. But he wanted to go and film when we went. This is years ago, when we went up to the Adirondacks. And I never got. I just think we were only there for 2 days, and I didn't think it was really long at that time. Like, I'm not gonna drag this guy out there, and I'm sorry I didn't now because he's a pretty big deal. He's making all these documentaries. They're on YouTube, they're on Netflix, they're on Amazon. And I'm like, damn it, maybe I, whatever. It is what it is. So, and he's doing a great job with it. He's not doing shit work. He's doing the documentaries he's putting together. They're really, really good. So. Check it out. And anything by Paul
Bartholomew.
Yes, check that out as well. Paul's the real deal. He is the real deal. All right, so we did cancer with dogs. What else you got? I got a lot more stuff.
All right, so I got stuff all over the map. So I just mentioned about the COVID thing, and that kind of died away. So our news goes in cycles, and then there's something big we all fight about, and in the span of a TT Fly's memory, we've forgotten about it. So I'm going to start with one thing, and it's going to domino into other things. Just bear with me and add in your comments when you want. Has anyone in the last month heard anything about Hawaii and Maui?
No.
Nothing.
No.
Whole section of the island was destroyed.
Yep.
For 2 weeks, it was a big deal.
Yep.
Dead silent.
Over with. Yep. People burned alive.
So
whole families extinguished.
Whole families, cars melted.
Yep.
Melted cars, melted aluminum, melted glass. So
yeah, I wanted to bring that up, but continue.
So one of the things that popped up almost, and again, I get it. You want to tell conspiracy theorist people just to shut the fuck up. But sadly, in the last 2 years, they've been proven right time and time.
True enough.
Time again.
Yep.
So Hawaii, the big thing that popped up Hawaii, and it was the forest fires in Canada, and it was the fact that we had secondhand smoke from the Canada forest fires down here killing us, and making it look foggy. So all these fires are going on. There was a 700-800 forest fires in Canada. There was a bunch in the United States.
Yep.
That really didn't get reported on. And then there was Maui. And I can't think of the name of the section, and I would botch it if I knew it. But basically, this was an area that was very sacred to the Hawaiian people. And they refused to sell. They wanted it for land developments right on the beach, right on the coast, whatever. I get it. It's now everything's on the coast or beach, but whatever. And they wouldn't sell. But oddly enough, once they passed an ordinance through that said you are not allowed to develop this land unless an act of God,
act of God happens,
destroys it.
Yeah.
So the big conspiracy theory at that point was DEWs, directed energy weapons.
Yep.
Which are a real thing.
Yes, they are.
They are a real thing.
Yep.
And they say just the way the fire moved and looked and start here, start there, went there. The fact that aluminum rims on cars melted. That's a lot of heat. Glass melted. And then right next to it's a tree.
Totally untouched.
Yep.
No, I saw the videos.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know exactly what I was going to bring it up.
So, and then all of a sudden it's just, I don't know what started. Something started with the government. I don't know. Trump got indicted for the first time or something.
Right.
Whatever.
Yeah.
And we just kind of lost tabs on it. A sad note for me, an actor that I kind of liked and looked up to, joined forces with Oprah.
Yes, he did.
Joined forces
get
with
me
Oprah.
started on this. Yes, I got some
Joined forces
information
with
on
Oprah
that.
to set up a
Relief fund.
A relief fund for Maui, and it's Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, and I was so disappointed. It just crushed my man crush on this guy. And it wasn't Oprah and Wayne doing it. It was their organization, which has a sick record of barely getting 1.5% to 2% of the donations out to where they have to go.
The CEO of that nonprofit organization makes over $500,000 a year. The second person in charge makes $350,000 a year, and the next 10 people after that person make $100,000 plus a year. Okay. And when they put out their pledge on YouTube, we're gonna guarantee we're pledging $10 million. They didn't say they were pledging their $10 million.
No,
they're pledging your $10 million.
Yes.
This is what they're taking the heat over. They're not pledging their own money. They're pledging your money.
Right.
You know, I mean, like, you people, why don't you go to your rich friends and get some money from them? You're all millionaires.
And again,
why are you going to people who are getting hardly getting by on these high interest rates and inflation? You know, what is wrong with you, you sick fucks in Hollywood? What is fucking wrong with you people?
And this is all part of the thing that all of a sudden, okay, so there's the piece of the puzzle. The director and everyone's piece of the puzzle. The fact that Oprah's been buying up land in Maui is a piece of the puzzle. Then the greatest piece of the puzzle that one of us should probably research it. There is a theory that the directed energy weapons used do not harm things in the blue spectrum. And they showed a demonstration where a laser was cutting along and it got to blue fabric and didn't do anything to blue fabric. Got past blue fabric and started making a mess again. Well, if you start looking at some of the places that didn't take any damage in Maui, they have blue roofs. Oprah's house. Oprah's house has a blue roof. A blue car, left unscathed. So there was that fed into the directed energy weapon craze. So all that nonsense is going on. So while all that nonsense is going on, news out of, I believe it was in Hawaii, but it may not be where their mansion is, but the Obamas lost their head chef.
Oh, yes.
Head chef. That I believe, and not that it mattered, but I believe the head chef was probably part of the LGBTQIA plus scene, which I don't have a problem with because he's part of the LGB part, not the rest of it. Died, drowned.
Yeah,
drowned.
Mysteriously,
haven't been a drowning since Chappaquiddick.
Right.
So,
that's right.
Yeah.
The other Kennedy boy.
Yeah. So the cook dies. He's out paddle surfing. Falls in, and they were saying it was a relatively shallow area where he fell in the water. At first they said, he probably couldn't swim, but then they found video of him doing not just swimming, like I can swim. This guy's doing like shit. Navy SEAL training survival swimming. So I'm thinking, okay, probably unless he got hit with a big rock or a directed energy weapon, he should have been able to swim wherever he was going, unless he had some medical condition. So this all hits. And then it was that he was on the compound by himself. But there was a person out in the middle of this water that saw him go in the water, but it took him like an hour to get there. So I don't know if it was on Lake Michigan or where the fuck this was. But I don't know, it took an hour to get to where this guy went in and drink to see if he's still alive. And they couldn't find him when they got there. And then they finally found him. It's taken almost a month and a half, 2 months to finally get to the truth that Barack was at the house at the time this was happening.
Imagine that. Look at that. Also,
the cook was in the process of finalizing a tell-all book.
Michael's about to come out.
All right. So that's how I'm looking all these things together. So I believe a little while back, I made the prediction that Joe's replacement, come election time, would be Michelle Obama.
You did.
And I said it. And here's another one of these things. I said it. And in the last month, I've heard at least 4 or 5 political talking heads that are respected or well known, I'll put it that way, have all said the same fucking thing. That she is the black woman to replace Camilla, not Gavin Newsom. So Michelle, or as she's sometimes called, Big Mike. Big Mike. I think this is going to be, it's going to be a while. Folks, if the elections actually happen, which is some question about that right now too, this is going to be a wild ride. Joan Rivers. You know Joan Rivers?
I know Joan Rivers. I don't know her, but I know where she is.
So, a few weeks before Joan Rivers died, she wasn't paddle surfing, but she died. She was being hounded by one of these TMZ reporters or something about what she thought about, did she ever think to be a trans person in the White House? And she went off on this guy. She goes, "What makes you think there wasn't already a trans person in the White House? Do you think he called her Mike by mistake?" So she just went off on this guy. And then a few weeks later, big time. So my guess is, and what I'm saying, that in my mind, it ties in to the last year of wokeness and the heavy push on the trans agenda by everyone. That makes no sense. You're catering to less than 6% of the population. And you're putting all your advertising dollars into. If it does come out that she, whatever, is right, Big Mike's going to run against Trump. Big Mike's going to run against Trump.
That's a hell of a slogan.
I will guarantee you, if it looks a little dicey that Big Mike may not win, she will come out as a trans African American. And it will just drive that. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what I'm saying? I know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying. I disagree on the outcome, though. I think it would be. I know what you're saying, but I think it would be the reverse action.
No, because they need to have they can't do Sleepy Joe because they're
Well,
not.
no, I know
they're
that.
not going to pull that off again.
I told you that.
But
already. I already said that.
But they're not going to. You've got to put someone in there that can absolutely justify all the fake ballots that can be cast for them. And if you think anyone is going to question an African American trans woman and the votes they got,
right,
you're nuts.
Right. All right,
this is better than being black.
Well, okay,
I'm just saying.
Okay, I'm just saying. Since we're talking about trans stuff, I got the trans athlete of the week.
I'm not done yet.
Okay,
hold on. Okay, go and do your trans thing.
I got trans athlete of the week. Lately, and I didn't write down any names because I'm not going to name these people. I don't think they need more popularity. The latest trans athlete beat the 4-time world female champion in fencing recently. So this female champion that's been 14 years in a row as the world champion for fencing loses to a trans athlete for the first time. Someone who used to be a male.
Is that the fencing?
So that's fencing. Yeah. So congratulations to you for dominating a women's sport. By the way, this person was ranked. I don't think they were ranked in top 1,000 in the fencing for males before they made that transition, from what I understand. I could be wrong about that, but just so you know, so that was the good for you.
Well,
good for you. You get a special badge.
There's a trans woman that made the top 100 most beautiful women in the Maxim.
Yeah,
Maxim, which is a men's magazine.
Yeah.
Like a heterosexual man. Well, yeah. They threw a trans woman in there that is. I'm not saying she's ugly,
right?
But she is a bit homely.
Well, here's the thing.
Keep that in mind.
I don't care. I
don't care. You're right.
No,
I don't care.
Here's the thing. I just don't think that. I feel female sports are being disadvantaged and highly hijacked. I am totally on board with trans people. I think it's your right as an American. If you want to do that, good for you. God bless you. That's your right. I have no problem with that. I'd sit down and drink beer with them all day long. But for sports, I really think there should be their own division. I don't think it's fair from a physical standpoint, from a biology standpoint. It's simply not fair. People can make the argument all day, well, hormones this, hormones that. It doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work.
So don't shit where you eat kind of mentality.
Right.
So there's an event every year. Some of the big tech Silicon Valley companies put it together, and it is designed to attract women to the field. It is notoriously it is notoriously only women can put in for it.
Yep.
This has been going on for years. It gives women an excellent chance to get into this field, get recognized, get seen, and a record number of trans women showed up at this event.
Yes, they did.
And were being fawned over and being picked more than the actual women that were at this event.
Yep.
And if you're not catching the drift, these were men. They didn't try. They just Bob Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Didn't try to change his name at all. Didn't try dressing the part in drag.
Nope.
Just showed up full beard.
I identify as a woman.
Identify as a woman. Give me a job.
Yep.
It's just crazy. What I was going to jump back to, talking about the Obamas, Big Mike. So I'm going to get to this some serious topic here. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, the money, all that stuff. We know Joe's not smart enough to do this on his own.
No, of course not. No.
So I am convinced that the puppeteer, or at least one of the puppeteer next in line is Obama.
Well, yeah. I put that on my Facebook page. Remember with the puppeteer? Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. What? Yeah. But I mean, before this.
Right.
Hunter's own testimony says, I have to give Pops 50%. Or I hope that you don't have to give Pops 50% like I do.
Right.
So if he's giving his dad 50% already, then what's this 10% for the big guy?
There you go.
Business.
Right.
Is the big guy Obama?
That could be.
Or Big Mike?
Or Big Mike.
Or a combination?
Yeah.
Because I find it hard to believe, as educated and as articulate and clean cut for an African American as Obama was, according to Joe Biden, that he didn't know what was going on. Especially when Joe's using him as an alibi.
Right.
Well, let me call Barack right now and see what he says about the $1 billion, whether you can get it or not. I mean, granted, Joe's probably could be that stupid they would say that, but so I think Barack or Big Mike is the big guy, but whatever. So, and then, there's all the Hunter Biden bullshit going on now, and I don't even want to get into that right now. Just
since we touched the election, I gotta go down some stuff here.
Okay.
I just want to go on the record. I do not think Michelle Obama was a man at one point. I don't. I'm not sold on it.
I do.
Okay, that's we're gonna have a difference on that. That's fine. I just don't.
Because it keeps coming out that not that I'm
right.
Not that I'm saying it's bad,
right?
But Barack had some really latent homosexual tendencies while he was doing crack.
All right, sounds good.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. So election snapshot, and this is the latest poll information I have, by the way, and I take this from numerous polls. So just to give an idea, and I did make prediction many times that Joe Biden would resign last year by the end of the year, and I was wrong. And now I changed it to this year. There's no doubt in my mind he'll be gone. Early Christmas.
They just gotta wait till it's closer.
Yeah, but and this is why though. Here we go. Election snapshot. Minnesota and Michigan. All right. Trump by 7.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, those are swing states. Pennsylvania. Here's the biggie. Trump by 9. These are state by state polls.
Okay.
Wisconsin. Okay, +2.
Mm-hmm.
Florida, not even close to not even taking the poll. That's Trump so far ahead in Florida. Okay. Ohio. Trump +12. Okay. Iowa, Trump +15. Okay. Those are all swing states. Okay. Nikki Haley is up some of these states by 5 or 6 points over Biden. In some states, she's even over Trump in comparison to Biden in percentage, meaning, point wise,
right.
2 or 3 points above Trump would be. Okay. Biden cannot win. The Democratic Party now sees this. They now know these got to be pushed out. Those conversations are happening. I guarantee you it's happening. There's no doubt in my mind. A winning ticket. And I said Trump would pick a female.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I mean, the way it looks, she's coming out against him, it could be Haley. She's got great poll numbers. She's going to be above DeSantis nationwide here very shortly.
He won't.
We'll see.
He is, and I know Trump doesn't always keep his word.
Right.
But he's been adamant that there's absolutely no way that's happening.
All right. So with the election out of the way, we have the Israeli Hamas shit going on.
Mm-hmm.
And, Iran's name has been thrown out there for the week now, 2 weeks now. Iran. I'll tell you what, we're not going to hit Iran. Israel is going to hit Iran. They are going to hit them so hard, it's going to shock the whole. Israel kept saying, or Iran kept telling Israel, you better look out, making all these threats. Again, I'm telling you right now, it's going to be the other way around. They're not going to wait for us. They're going to hit Iran like Iran's never been hit before. I'm telling you, it's coming. I'm telling you.
You know what? In a week ago, I might have agreed with you 100%.
Matt?
I'm a little shaky on that right now.
What part?
About Israel remaining strong.
They're going to. Okay, they're going to level the West Bank. The Gaza Strip, it's going to be leveled. Anvil, I'm telling you.
It should have been leveled by now.
No, it's going to.
It needed to be leveled by now. And Biden fucking infected them with his fucking chin nutsack weakness.
It's going to get leveled.
Right now, they look weak. Israel looks weak right now.
They're going to level it. I'm telling you, they're going to level it.
And
not only that,
they look weak.
They're going to have a second front, and we're going to be involved. This is not going to. It's not going to be World War III, but a lot of other countries are going to stick their noses in, and shit's going to get real really fast. And I don't like saying that because I got a kid in the Air Force. I got friends, kids are in the Army and Marines and Navy and shit like that. It's just not something I want.
No, I hear you.
But I'm telling you, this shit is not going to be World War III, but this shit is going to heat up, and there's a lot of other countries involved, and Iran's going to be the one that really paying the fucking price. And yeah, the Gaza Strip is going to be leveled. Israel is going to level the fucking place. I'm telling you right now, they ain't fucking around. They're not fucking around. People don't realize the amount of brutality. And here's another thing. The BBC. I've watched some of the coverage through the BBC, and my God, I swear to God, they're on the side of Hamas. I swear, I watched this. I'm like, they're the poor Palestinian people, and the poor this, and the Israels are so bad. And I'm watching this coverage, and I'm like, are you people on crack over there? Do you know what's going on in the world? Babies' heads their throats were slit, their heads were cut off, they were riddled with bullets. Women were raped and killed in front of their children, and then their children were killed. And then in some of the cases, the children were killed before the mother, so the mother could have that extreme horror of watching their child be murdered in front of them, have their throats slit, and then they killed the mother. They burned people in their cars, young adults, teenagers in their cars alive. I mean, like, this is the kind of horror we're talking about. And you got AOC and the other dipshit. I don't remember what state, Minnesota, where's she from? I don't know where the fuck she's from. But these people, these
or whatever.
These terrorists, they're in Congress. They're terrorists. That's what they are. They're not Congress people. They're a disgrace. They're terrorists. It's unbelievable what's going on. And then they have these college campuses. He had it at SUNY Binghamton.
Did they protest?
Oh, yes, they did. They were on the list. They were on Fox News the other night.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these kids, and I'm like, they're terrorists. You are. If you support Hamas, you're as bad as a terrorist in my eye. There's no different. You just as bad. You are just as evil as those people, because this is what happened with the Nazi Party. People turn a blind eye, or they support them half-heartedly, or they support them 100%. And this is how the Nazi Party gained control. This is the exact same thing, and I said it before. I've said it 5 years now. The progressive wing of the Democrats is the Fourth Reich rising. This is what they are. They are Nazis. It's not the right people. So, it's the far left that are the sick fucks in this country.
With that being said, let's just say, I want to just put this out there so we get out there and get rid of it. The GOP debates are a disgrace and a joke.
The GOP debates? I haven't watched any of them.
Primary debates?
I haven't watched any.
They're absolutely goddamn awful. I think there's a reason they are double and triple digits behind Trump. I hear what you're saying, Jeff. I hear what you're saying. And all I'm going to say, I'm going to say more than that, but I think, to the degree I think you're right. I think Israel is, when they finally get off their ass and do something, it'll be too much too late. And it will be a huge backlash.
Yes.
From everyone. A huge backlash from everyone. And I will tell you, at that point, Biden will pull his support.
We'll see.
He'll call the aircraft carriers back home.
No, I hope not.
Israel be left on its own. I'm just telling you.
Well, that's kind of like a biblical prophecy coming true, so I hope that's not true.
I'm just telling you. If that jackass didn't go to Israel when he did, they'd have been in with ground troops.
Yeah, he went in to stop the invasion.
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I do agree with you with that.
And then Kathy Hochul, our governor, went over there.
Yeah.
What the fuck for?
Yeah.
Waste my goddamn time.
That was because there's a strong Jewish presence in New York City, and she needs New York City to win. She only won by 5% points last time. So,
and then Gavin Newsom won, another fucking idiot, because California is the prime example to show these people.
He thinks he's going to be the replacement for Biden. That's why he went.
So while we're talking about Gavin Newsom in California, Greta Thunberg.
Oh, that dummy, that kid
is on a talk show.
Nice young lady
is on a talk show, and I didn't catch the question.
Wait. We should do a shot to Greta.
We should do a shot.
She's a genius.
I have to follow that up with more of that melon shit.
For her fake electric future. There we go. Muscle tough.
That is bad. Anyway, so they're talking about whatever. They're talking about conflict and stuff and how it's bad for the environment. So, Greta Thunberg says, yes, war is bad for the environment. What kind of fucking dumbass statement is that? And she follows it up by saying, that's why we need to have electric-friendly equipment on the battlefield. Electric tanks and electric planes. First of all, I think a battery to get a plane to fly would never fit in a jet. You know how big that goddamn jet would have to be? A tractor trailer. An electric tractor trailer takes 8 or 10 of the EV batteries, weighing in excess of something ridiculous, 13 tons or 10 tons or 8 tons, or whatever it is. It's a lot of weight what this thing has.
Well, look how cool a tank would be with like a coal car behind it, but it'd be a battery car behind it. A tank going down the battlefield with this big ass fucking battery.
She's a fucking idiot. I don't know why we're still fucking listening to her. How many fronts can we have a war on and still hope to win? We got a proxy war going on in
Ukraine.
We got shit possibly going on in Israel.
Yep.
Now China's sending boats over to the Mediterranean, keep an eye on us, what we're doing. Russia's pledging their fucking whatever to the Palestinians.
Yeah.
And here's a question of the Palestinians. Their own fucking ethnic group. I'm not going to say their own kind, because I don't want to group all the Islam folk together. But their own kind doesn't want them.
No,
they're the fucking trailer trash of the Arab world.
No, nobody wants them. Saudi Arabia doesn't want them. Iran doesn't want them. Iraq doesn't want them. Syria doesn't want them. Egypt doesn't want them. Although I think Egypt will take them in the future. Egypt's been the most open, the least open in the border, so it's probably Egypt.
So they don't want them,
right?
And I get, you can say these protesters. I guess my biggest issue is that they've yet to make the distinction between Hamas and Palestine.
Right.
They say Palestine when they protest.
Right.
But you can't say Palestine when you protest and then gas all the Jews.
Right.
Because that sounds like you're talking more about Hamas if you really want to have a distinction there. Right. So if that's your feeling that we should be gassing all the Jews, I'm thinking maybe the Jews might have a little something to say about that.
Yep.
The fact that the Jewish population of this country has gotten more fired up yet. Anyways, yes, I am very disturbed by the fact of all the Palestinian protests across this country.
Well,
and it's not just a handful of people. There's hundreds of thousands of people.
I'm gonna tie your crane for a minute to this discussion, and the reason being is when the democratically elected government was overthrown in Ukraine with the backing of the CIA and the Obama administration. Right. They used the 8% Ukrainian Nazi population. The estimated population of Ukraine to be Nazi sympathizers or Nazi supporters is 8 to 9%. They were the 8 to 9% that caused, I don't know, people don't realize this, but it's well documented, that caused the revolution. They were the ones, it wasn't the government troops that were firing on the protesters in the beginning. It was actually the Nazis dressed up, Anyway, and they take great claim that they were able to force, the government out of power and put the government in power that it is now. It was 8% of the population. We're now looking at this very similar thing here in the United States where you're seeing a small percentage of the population, as you did in Nazi Germany, a small percentage of the population gains control and takes over things. And this is what's happening and this is why I keep going back to being the progressive movement is the Fourth Reich. They hate Christians and they despise Jews. They hate Christians.
Oh, yeah.
And it's all based, and it goes back, and I hate to bring it up because I tie it to everything I can, but it's the truth. There's no appreciation for life on the progressive side. And I can say that without batting an eye because they are for abortion up to the very last minute to birth. So they have no problem with a baby's throat being cut at the moment of birth. Okay, this is what's happening and what happened with Hamas with the Israeli children, and this is why these progressives have no problem with it because they're used to it. They understand it. Right. They have no respect for human life, and that's the problem with the progressive movement.
So, and what I'm gonna say is that no one should be surprised or shocked by the support for Hamas in the country because. We get the same. I find it hard that you can be indignant about an Israeli child being beheaded, but still be 100% behind Roe Wade and late-term abortion.
There you go.
It's basically the thing. We're killing children by the hundreds of thousands.
Yep.
By the millions a year.
Yes, we are.
So, I get it. It's a little more, it's a scimitar and not a scalpel.
Right.
Or a suction or a hoover or whatever.
Terrible, not funny,
but
I get it.
How do you, if that isn't part of the hypocrisy of our current left, I'm really not sure what else is. I get it. And the fact that now, all these protests and everyone's calling for a ceasefire and that's what I'm saying is, so, and you got to ask yourself, is the timing just coincidental or are there coincidences? But within, 48 hours of the House not having a speaker and coming to a grinding halt, Hamas launches an attack that even if they have, and they probably have a better understanding of our government system than most of our citizens do.
Right.
They know that Congress can't approve anything because the congressional side of the House isn't working right now and probably won't be working for a fucking while. There's a much bigger plan going on here.
Well, and here's the thing. The latest Biden, when he went to the nation the other night and he wanted, 106 or 108 billion dollars, like 13 billion for Israel, and then another 61 billion for Ukraine, and we've already given Ukraine over 100 billion dollars. Here's the problem with Ukraine, and I'm going to educate one real quick. Does anyone know what the average age of the Ukrainian soldier is right now that's fighting the Russian troops? Anybody?
18, 17.
38 years old.
Really?
This is the same exact age that Nazi Germany had during 1943 when they were starting to lose the war because they're running out of manpower. And I said this before on the show, that Ukraine does not have the population to support a long-term war. This is a losing gambit on our part. If we really wanted the Ukrainians to win, they would have had every weapon in NATO's arsenal to win this war. They do not. They have a quarter of what we have available in terms of weapon technology. Okay, with that being said, the NATO plan is not for Russia to win. It's not for Ukraine to win. The NATO plan is to have Russia deplete itself to where it's no longer a threat to what they consider a threat on a national stage. They want Russia depleted, and Ukrainian is a tool that we're using to do it. And just by using simple math and understanding what we've given them, anyone with a brain can see this. And when you look at the average age of the average Ukrainian soldier right now, you understand that they're out of manpower. In fact, they're now out of manpower where women are now forced to join the military in Ukraine. I don't know if you know this or not, but the females are now being drafted. Fact. So this is what's going on in Ukraine. They are running out of bodies. Their morale is so low on the Ukrainian side. They have the special units that are assigned to go to each combat unit. And if you're sick or trying to get into medical leave, you're forced back onto the front line. There's diseases running through the ranks because no one's allowed medical care, and they don't have enough medical care to begin with in the Ukrainian lines. So as much news as you hear about the Russians taking a beating, you're not hearing about what's going on the Ukrainian side. So things are very bad, very, very bad. And Ukrainian is not a democracy. It is a dictatorship. Reporters who are reporting more news, not just from the Ukrainian side, but the Russian side as well, are being jailed. There is a kill list, an official kill list from the Ukrainian government. And Jimmy Dore is on that kill list, by the way. Jimmy Dore, that does the Jimmy Dore show on YouTube, is on that official list. It's published from the Ukrainian government of journalists that should be killed and are wanted for spreading apparently Russian propaganda. So this is the government that we are spending our taxpayer money to support and keep in the power. What's more disturbing about this is the money that has been spent. We could have had universal health care in this country. Everyone could have health care. No more deductibles, no more bullshit. We could have solved child hunger in this country. There'd be no child without 3 meals a day. We could have solved the homeless crisis that's in major cities across the nation at this point, including our own, with the money that's been spent. And these are all by government numbers, by the way. The math is there. This is a unbelievable raping of the American taxpayer money for this Ukrainian conflict with Russia.
So Jeff kindly and maybe even childishly thinks that all this money has been used to support the war effort.
Oh, it can be used for all kinds of things.
It's in my opinion, it's only a fraction has gone for the war effort, and a bulk of it has been grifted not only to Zelensky and his cronies, but back to Biden and his cronies, and politicians on Capitol Hill and their cronies.
Right.
And I would be cynical enough to say that this is a dog and pony show by Putin and Zelensky to get as much money as humanly possible out of our country while depleting. NATO's got a great plan, except the only problem with NATO's plan is it's doing the same thing to us.
Right. Well, we're NATO. This idea that there's a NATO is a joke at this fucking point.
Okay. So all I'm saying is that if we're in a conflict, you think NATO's going to come to our benefit? Okay, I'll take that as a fucking no.
With the Germans, we don't want to get involved.
So we knew this was public. We gave Iran $6 billion.
Yeah, $6 billion.
And 5 prisoners.
Yeah.
For 5 of our people.
Yep.
This is almost as horrible a deal as giving the merchant of death, I don't know if that was his name or not, weapons arm dealer, back to Russia for the trans basketball player.
The anti-American one.
Well, trans. And is Haitian not a trans?
I don't know.
I'm telling you, that's a guy.
Well, I don't know. I'm not saying that. But I just know they were
it's one of Big Mike's relatives.
They were very anti-American. I remember that.
So
they've changed their tune since then.
Oh, yeah.
They changed their tune since.
So it wasn't as much public knowledge, but we also slipped Iran $3 billion through the United Nations in some kind of humanitarian relief fund.
And we opened up the oil taps for them.
Yep. So it's not it's $3 billion. It's $9 billion total that went to those motherfuckers and gave them the ability to sell oil. Now asking for $100 billion for Ukraine and Israel. I'm sorry. Does not Israel have some funds? Don't they? I get Ukraine's got some issues, but if you're gonna go after the Jews for their reputation, you got to give them credit for their reputation. And how can the only poor Jews in the world be in Israel at this time? I don't know how that's possible. Anyways, just saying, not being anti-Semitic. I just don't understand how that is that every single poor Jew is in Israel.
Well,
and all the ones that have money are over here in the United States.
This is a great time to be a arms manufacturer in the United States. They're monkeying
the military. Let me get the merchant of death on the goddamn phone and see what we can do about that.
The military-industrial complex is making money hand over fist between Ukraine and Russia. There's an ammunition plant right here in Scranton, Pennsylvania. People don't realize that it's running 24 hours now, 7 days a week to make ammunition
for the war effort.
Right, in Ukraine.
But if there's a civilian ammunition plant in the United States, someone keeps blowing these fuckers up, so there's no ammunition for the citizens. But okay. I'm gonna go on this side tangent.
No, we're going to side tangent. Okay.
Actually, I need to fill me up with the Boston melon.
Boston melon, you got it.
So, listening to Breitbart News on the way in today, and there was a person talking about the problem with Palestine and how they feel and what justifies what they did. Blah. So, and I said to myself, yeah, that sounds familiar. That they are in a country that they really don't have a lot of control over. And yeah, Hamas is there, but they pretty much run the show, and it's not what the majority don't feel that way. But I feel like a Palestinian. I feel that I am in a country that I don't recognize anymore. And that the current political situation is not running the government how like I think it should be run, and how a free American should feel to be run. That there is apparently 50% of us, and unfortunately the ones that voted for Trump, that feel like the Palestinians feel about Hamas. And that they're stuck. It's unfortunate, but they're stuck. And what if we were to take, and this is all hypothetical, so just get your panties untwisted. So this is all hypothetical. But what if we, as the oppressed American citizens, did what Palestine did and take matters into their own hand and do a early morning attack on those members of our society that are oppressing us? Just saying.
I'm not for violence.
I'm not for violence either, but
I'm not.
You know,
get that out on the air right now.
and I said it's hypothetical, so tell them to shut the fuck up.
That shot's hitting pretty hard, folks.
Meanwhile, we've let 8 million or more illegal immigrants, illegal aliens.
Well, I think
They didn't crash in New Mexico. They didn't come over on a flying saucer. There's not alien technology involved. They just walk across the goddamn fucking border to our country. We let them come in.
Well,
and these are.
I think you need to have a bigger heart. These
You
displaced.
need a shot.
They're human beings and they're displaced, and they need our help. And what better people to help them other than the taxpayer of America?
I need our help.
What are you talking about? You are a white privileged motherfucker.
Oh, not
you, and you live on that hill in your mansion.
And I expect that out of 1% like you.
Yeah, you live on that hill in a mansion up there.
Like you.
Yeah. You just see this, folks. This mansion he's got, right? It's up on top of a hill. He's oversees the valley. It's one of those big fuckers.
Yeah, there's at least 8 or 9 of the rainbow flags in our neighborhood. So we're right in LGBTQ plus territory. Anyways, I'm just saying we've let a boatload of people in. A small percentage are women and children. Of the women and children we let in, most of them have been sex trafficked to other people in the United States or out of the United States. So most of the people coming in are males of combat age that are just running willy-nilly around our country. And I know it's paranoid, I know it's tinfoil, Kevlar foiled hat, paranoia, but if I see a paraglider anywhere in the vicinity, I'm shooting the fucker down. Or a hot air balloon, because I think that's more possible.
Just remember, there's
a
speedy festival.
Well, you know what? August, they may not want to run it in August because they might be sniped out of the air. Because hot air balloons are a big thing.
Yeah. Okay, folks, he's joking. Just so you're aware.
I am joking.
He's joking 100%. Just so you're aware.
I will not shoot them down. So, yeah, and we're just. The Palestinian protests, that really bothers me.
No, I get it.
It really, really bothers me. And all this is going on. It's like the summer of 2020 again.
Yep.
They haven't started destroying cities yet.
Right.
But it's got to be next on the list of things to do.
There's more to come.
If they're following the BML playbook,
Yep.
destroying cities will be the next thing to do. It'll take cops switching their mentality from just gunning down black people to gunning down.
He's joking again.
To gunning down the Arabs
right.
that they pull over.
Oh no, geez, Anvile.
I'm just saying.
He's joking. So anyway, there's a listener. I don't know if she's on tonight or not. I don't think she is.
I think he's just Deb. Deb, I'm joking.
Yeah, he's
trying
joking,
to make a point.
But there's another listener that has a background in law enforcement. Extensive background in law enforcement, actually. And this particular person has made comments before about a certain sheriff. And I have to say something. I actually had an encounter recently at a funeral, of all things, with that particular person. And I immediately picked up on dark energy. I cannot tell you. Like, I'm a very nice person. I'm a very friendly person. I'm friendly with everybody, and something's not right there. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know how else to put it, but something's not right there. People aren't always what they seem in the public.
No, absolutely not.
And it was a weirdly weird feeling, and it happened twice at that event. I'm like, holy fuck, what's this about? I'm like, this is very weird. So anyway, just remember, people put on a great public, politicians put on a great public appearance. They're not always what they seem to be. And I think most people are aware of that, and we'll kind of leave it at that. So
while we're talking about things, while we're just throwing things out there. So everyone, most people know, we know. So Trump's got, I don't know, 4 or 5 indictments.
At least.
Like 97 counts of whatever.
It's helping him, which is crazy. His poll numbers
are going up. I think Trump could do anything from acquitted, which would be the right thing to do, to the death sentence.
Right, yeah.
The big news, they really haven't responded. The big news is that I think at least 2 or 3 of his co-defendants in Georgia have taken plea deals.
Yes, they have.
What the media isn't telling you is that their plea deals have absolutely nothing with election tampering.
Yep.
They've taken plea deals for other things.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not telling you. The headlines are just took a plea deal.
Right.
But there's nothing, there's still no evidence that there was election tampering, election fraud, interference, whatever. It just, and then our own state attorney general, and then again, these people are just, I will refer to my British brothers when I say this. These people are just cunts. Bottom line, cunts. We'll sit there and say 2 years after the fact, I did not campaign on singling out this guy, and then they play 4 or 5 clips, a montage of her at political rallies, at political commercials, saying she's going after Trump and his family.
I really think that the Democratic Party thought that if they hit him from so many different angles, from so many different states, again, it's all Democrats. There's no independents, and 0 Republicans have launched any kind of indictment against Trump. It's all Democrats, and they did it purposely. They're trying to destroy his credibility. Remember, if you can't kill somebody, you destroy their credibility, and that's how you deal with them. Unfortunately, it's backfired. It actually increased his poll numbers, which is amazing. And you know what? Here's the testament, though, and here's the silver lining to all this. Let me finish this statement.
I will. I'll let you finish.
Okay, so the poll numbers have gone up for him a ridiculous amount, and it's a testament to the American voters' intelligence, because they see what's going on. They're like, wait a minute. All this can't be true. There's just possibly no way one man could do all this that they're saying he did. They know this can't be true. So now they understand that, hey, the fix is in.
Yeah.
The fix is in. And this is why his poll numbers are through the roof, in my opinion.
Yeah. So this is why I'm saying there's a Big Mike. Big Mike surprise.
Oh God. Yeah.
Big Mike surprise.
Apparently he's got a big surprise.
They're gonna pull out every stop. They're gonna play on every heartstring, and Big Mike's gonna come out as a trans African American. And the reason they kept it in for so long is because there was such a homophobic, transphobic attitude in the country that she never liked until her boyfriend Barack was president. That was the first time she was ever proud of her country. I'm just done it. They've got to put a person in that'll justify a record number. She'll get more votes than Biden did.
I disagree.
She will get more votes than Biden did, because every day the trans population in this country doubles in percentage.
I'm disagreeing with you. I think it's the exact opposite. I think that the country's heading to the right. They're running away from this woke shit. And you're starting to see it more and more in the media. It's actually covering stories where because athletes don't agree with this, it's trans. I'm telling you right now, America's running away. They've had enough of the left woke shit. They're done. And they see the disaster that's happening on the world stage with Afghanistan and now, Iran, causing all this shit. And Iran's responsible. And I think Russia probably had a hand in it too. And then, right now, we got to worry about, we haven't talked about it tonight, but there has never been, and I said this last October, October of 2022, I said, we should really watch what China does.
Oh, yeah.
And now we're in October 2023. There's never been a better time for China to invade Taiwan than right now. We are engaged in Ukraine with money. We are engaged with money and assets with Israel in the Mediterranean.
Too soon.
Telling you.
It's too soon.
Never a better time.
Too soon.
Never a better time. The only better time would be when Biden actually steps down because of quote unquote health reasons. That will be the only better time other than this right now.
Too soon.
Well, I don't think so.
It's too soon. Because China's invasion of Taiwan has to correspond within 6 weeks of the election.
I don't think it will.
Because they will cancel the elections.
No.
Because we will be at war.
We'll have an election.
They will not have an election in the middle of wartime.
There's no doubt in my mind that a Trump ticket will win. Meaning either Trump.
Not if they stop the election before it happens.
No.
They got the Senate. They got the Senate votes. The Senate won't stop it.
No, it'll happen.
The House is still in case. We'll probably still be looking for a goddamn speaker a year from now.
They just dropped the other guy today. An hour ago.
Oh yeah,
2 hours
no, he
didn't.
Yeah. He was even less. This guy's been the majority.
Trump came out against him.
He's been the Republican whip,
right,
for decades.
Right.
No one has more intimate knowledge of the House than this guy.
Trump came out against him,
and
that was it. Trump came out against him,
and he had 26 votes against him.
Right.
I don't know what McCarthy. I don't know what Jordan's final 20-something was. I know it was 21 day.
Right.
And then the next day he was down to 22.
Right.
And I think he said, I'm getting the fuck out before it gets any worse.
Right.
And then he put this other guy in.
Right.
So I'm going to say,
and
they don't make it easy.
Right. This guy didn't even make it to the floor.
No, I know.
He pulled out. Because Trump came out against him today. Okay. Trump said, no, this can't be the guy.
All right. So I need to know. I need to find a legitimate means of communication to get in touch with Chip Roy or any of these other ones that are kind of running the rodeo down there. And tell them it's time to do something we've never done before. It's time we've never done before. And we need to bring in an outsider to wrangle these cats. Because it's like herding cats. Someone says like herding sheep. I'm like, that's not even a thing. Herding sheep? What the fuck are you talking about? It's herding cats, you goddamn idiot. Herding cats. Herd these cats. They need someone to run shotgun over these assholes. And someone said, well, one of the main jobs of the speaker is to raise money. Why is that? No wonder we can't get anything fucking done. Your main job should be there in Washington with your foot up as many people's asses as need to be, is to get the job done and get them on the same goddamn page.
Okay. So maybe you're aware of this and maybe you aren't. I don't know. But every year or every election series, okay, you get new Congress. Some are freshmen, they've never been there before. They get reelected, or some get reelected. Okay, so the new freshmen come in. The first thing that they're shown, and this is true fact, folks. This is not some conspiracy theory. This is actually how it works, and there's actually documentaries on us, and made by Congress people and former Congress people. Yeah. So we know this is fact.
I never heard of
so. Yeah. The Democratic and Republican side actually have rented buildings. I don't know if they rent them or own them, but regardless. And in these, they have offices set up, and they're small cubicles. And there's phone system in their computer. And what you're expected to do when you come into office is you're expected to spend X amount of hours a week, preferably each day, calling donors after you've just been elected, by the way. Calling donors set up for the next election cycle, right? This is what goes on. And you're expected to do this. If you're not doing this, you're not considered a good Republican or a good Democrat. You don't get any appointments to any of the House seats or any of the committees. So sorry, you do not get any funding for your next campaign, or you get very little funding. And this is how they hold it against you. And this is how these parties hold power. It's ridiculously bad. So you need to be in there. Yeah.
Because the first thing you see is my size 11 combat boot. Being shoved up their asses. Yeah. I got no problem with them making calls, but they need to be on board with things we need to do.
Right.
And even Matt Gaetz, which I love listening to him talk because he talks a lot of shit. But explain to me how in, October? 8 months, right? It took us 15 tries, but we got a Speaker of the House within the first month. So February, let's say mid-February.
Right.
Let's say mid-February. How in that amount of time you couldn't herd the cats to push through the things you said you were going to push through? And he didn't guarantee they get through.
Right.
He guaranteed they bring them to the floor and get a vote on them.
Right.
So and again, this is why I didn't feel horrible per se when they got rid of them. How do you not ensure that the term limit bill doesn't at least get out of a committee and onto the floor for a vote, even though you know it'll never get through the Senate?
Right.
And it may not even get through the fucking House. But you did what you said you were going to do,
right,
and bring it forward. Why did they not start working on? And I get there's a lot of work. I'm not belittling the work that goes in, but why did they not start working on these 12 different appropriation bills?
Yep.
While the Democrats worked on their one big omnibus bill.
Right.
See, and this is why I'm saying I'd be okay with this, because I worked for Walmart for 15 freaking years.
As a manager, though.
As a manager. Okay. I understand if you give your word and you can get something done, you gotta get it done. You gotta get it done somehow. So again, I don't feel horrible, but he still has it. Other than releasing the January 6th videos to Tucker Carlson, he didn't make them available to everyone. Even Tucker Carlson made them available to everyone, except they're slipping out. They're getting more out now.
Right.
Did you see the recent one that made it out?
No, I didn't.
So there's a scene where there is the DC police, right? DC police in their, lime yellow vests in the Capitol building, telling people it's time to go. People, time to go. You've been in, time to... And these people are stopping. They're turning around and they're leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Seems like they're being pretty cooperative there. Just want to take a look around at their Capitol building. They paid for it. Meanwhile, we have hundreds of Palestinian protesters go in and have to be forcibly removed.
Yep.
And I guess my only problem is not one of them got shot.
No. Nope, they didn't. Nope.
They'll shoot down an Air Force officer. I don't know if she was an officer, but she was listening and whatever. Through a window for no reason. He was safe behind a door in glass. They had to break the glass to shoot her. I get it. They had Palestinian flags. They didn't have water buffalo helmets like the Flintstones had for the Water Buffalo Lodge. That they weren't carrying the speaker's podium around as a souvenir, but they had to be forcibly removed.
Yep.
And they were let in by that Talib whatever chick.
Yeah. Yep.
Let in.
Yeah, she's a terrorist.
And then the fucking not for that, but prior to that, when they were trying to stop the vote on the budget, that freaking idiot that pulled the fire alarm thing was going to open the fire door.
Yeah.
You know what?
Terrorist.
If you even excuse the fact that he pulled the fire alarm to open the fire door, he should be arrested just for that stupidity. But
that's a major
no, because we have John fucking Fetterman in the government. John fucking Fetterman, who gets a special dispensation to wear cutoffs and a hoodie to work. How is that putting our best foot forward to the world? And then he goes, this was the great, I don't know if you saw it. He goes on, I don't know if it was Conan or Kimball or whoever, or Steve Carell or Steve whatever. It was on Late Night Show.
Right.
In his cutoff workout, just came from the gym, went to And he said to the host, "You may not know this, but they're not sending the best and brightest to Washington."
I know. I see that part. Yeah.
Look in the mirror. Check out the monitor that's in the TV show. You sitting there in his cutoffs.
Yeah,
You've not sent the
it.
best and brightest
There you go.
to Washington.
Yeah.
And how are we not doomed? How does this not end?
Their shots are hitting you.
They are how does this end well?
Well, who knows? You know, the future's a river with many twists and turns and possibilities. So I don't ever lose hope.
Anyways. There's been a lot about Trump in the news lately. Nothing even. He got fined because he violated the gag order, and his co-defendants are taking pleas, but they're not for anything really criminal against what he's going to be charged with. I'm not sure what the next thing is they're going to hit him with, but Mar-a-Lago's $18 million. Are you kidding? Really?
Yep.
A judge doesn't understand that the appraisal amount for taxes and the actual physical appraisal amount of your building are two separate
things. Yep.
And they're usually at least 10% different. Like if Alani's house was worth $70,000, her tax appraisal will be $7,000,
right,
or whatever. So if the judge is looking at the tax appraisal as $18 million, you need to tack a zero and a few decimal points onto that.
True enough.
Anyways,
my final thing is I do not think Michelle Obama will be the Democrat nominee.
Nope, Big Mike will.
No, okay, whatever. I believe that a Trump-driven ticket, and I'm not saying Trump himself, but a Trump-driven ticket will win. Either Trump himself or Trump is involved some way. But I have no doubt in my mind it'll be a Republican president in the future. So zero doubt in my mind, actually. Absolutely 100% zero doubt.
And I've been in favor of the whole woman vice president thing with Trump.
Okay.
But I don't think it's going to be Nikki Haley.
Well, I could be wrong.
He's been adamant that she fucked up.
Well, that's fine.
She fucked up.
It's... Again, it could be Candace Owens.
I don't think it'd be Candace Owens.
It could be Ricky. What the hell's her name? Ricky Lake.
Not gonna be Ricky Lake.
Ricky Lake? Is it Ricky Lake?
No, it's not Ricky Lake or Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake.
Carrie Lake's running for the Senate.
Carrie Lake. Yeah.
Carrie Lake's running for the Senate. Yeah. So she's already got her pokers in the fire.
Yeah.
Sadly, I don't think it'll be Tulsi.
No, probably not.
Although she's been laying low.
Yeah, she's been laying low. Yeah.
I think.
Michelle Obama.
No.
Okay.
The one person they purposely kept out of the GOP debates was Larry Elder.
Who the hell's that?
He's from California. He's tried to run for governor a couple times. He's a black guy.
Oh,
very
it's not going to be a male. It won't be. Nah, I guarantee you. I guarantee you it won't be a male. I'm writing in paper. I guarantee on this day, guarantee not to be a male. Guarantee. Yeah, sign it. J.O.
It's going to be Tulsi. Give me Tulsi.
All right. Well, I'm pretty much out of stuff.
I am out of stuff.
Like you keep going on around.
I keep yelling.
But keep on investigating for those out there.
Absolutely.
Get in the woods, get in the haunted houses, look into the sky, never stop looking. Oh, me and Heather did actually have an incredible UFO encounter. Holy shit. I forgot to bring this up. Maybe I did talk about it on another show. I don't think it was during the summer. Did I tell you about this?
Maybe.
Okay.
Start the story.
Okay. So I'm outside around the campfire one night. Heather hadn't come out yet. She's in the house reading a book or some shit. And it's probably about 10:30 at night. And all of a sudden, I see, and it wasn't Starlink because I went to the Starlink map, by the way, these objects flying in formation. And they're going up like a train, and it wasn't Starlink. I mean, to make sure one more time, I said this because I went to the Starlink map to know where they were that night after I saw this, because I wanted to make sure it wasn't any Starlink. Because I've seen Starlink before, and this was completely different. These were incredibly bright objects, and they were going extremely fast, and there was a shitload of them. And I remember going, someone's got to see this besides me. I ran in the house, and I said, the Heather went like this, and I ran back out, and she came flying out behind me, and she ran up behind me and grabbed me, and I'm looking up in the sky, and she's looking up, and she feel my heart. She told me later she feel my heart pounding, and she could see it too, and she's like, and I could hear her say like, "Oh my God, what the hell is that?" And this just went on. I mean, literally for about 2 minutes. It was an incredible light show. And they were not Starlink because, again, we checked the trackers, and there's like 5 trackers you can check. It wasn't even close. And it was just an amazing thing to see. We both saw it. It was crystal clear night. And literally, when you think about a 2-minute period of these objects going that fast, I literally probably at least 100 of them. It was an amazing sight to see, you know. So, and I had a witness, so it was nice. It was nice. So, one of the best sightings I've had. I've had numerous sightings, but that was really one of the best ones. So, pretty cool. Yep.
Nice. Yep. All right. So, yeah, just to say it again. Myself, and I feel like I can speak for Jeff, are not phobic. We are not phobic. We're not homophobic. We're not transphobic. We are not Arabphobic. We're not phobic. We don't appreciate things we see.
Right.
And we got problems with some of the things we see.
Absolutely.
And we got problems with some of the people that do those things.
Yep, we do.
But, like I've always said, if you just leave me alone, quit taking my fucking money, and let me live my life the rest of whatever little bit I got left, I'm fine. But these people keep going out of their motherfucking way to upset me.
Right. I live under the simple philosophy that man will stop preying on man when man learns how to pray for man. So that's my philosophy. Man will stop preying on man when man learns how to pray for man. And that's, I think, what we need to do as a society and as a race is start praying for each other and get away from preying on each other. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm out.
You're out. I'm out. Jeff and I, keep in mind, we are 100% right.
50% of the time.
And we do. We want peaceful solutions. But right now, the human race sucks.
Yep. Absolutely sucks.
So, on that cheerful note, we'll get together again at some point.
Yep.
And no guarantee, but we will.
Yep.
And hopefully, we're not on anyone's kill list. Although we might be on Zelensky's, out to check.
Yeah, we're going to be on that.
I'll have to get on the dark web and check Zelensky's.
We're going to be on it shortly.
Undoubtedly, we've gotten banned off fucking YouTube again. Even though Mark Zuckerberg has said that the fact checkers just offer opinions, not really facts.
Yeah.
But I'm sure we violated community standards across the board today.
Yep. Absolutely
So
did.
we apologize for that.
Yeah.
It wasn't our intent.
No, fuck off.
But we know that's where we go once we get started.
Here's your fucking standards. Fuck off.
So have a good night, folks. Keep looking at the skies. Keep looking for those ghosts. They're out there. Don't let anyone tell you different. Have a good night.